saw right in front of me. And every time I'm so damn lost to what I loved and what I lost. But let's get lost in love tonight. Hear a second voice inside my head. It's telling me to say tonight again. And hold on to the words we always said would be forever, forever. Wait another day to clear my thoughts. So jump into a love that won't be forgotten. Forever, forever. Let's run away together. Let's run away together.
Happy Sunday Fun Day, everybody! Woo! For those of you that would like to join us live, I love to go live once a week, usually on Sundays, but sometimes a little bit earlier in the week, depending on my schedule. And I like to go live in my group, Intuitive Angel Messages, on Facebook. So I will place the link in the comments below. Also, if you have not subscribed to my second YouTube channel, this channel is called Lightworkers United. So I highly recommend doing that because I love to bring other Lightworkers content to the forefront and showcase that on this channel. And I'll also put that link in the comments below. So head over there and subscribe and check out the content. We have healers, psychic mediums, Akashic record readings, oracle card readings, tarot readings, you name it, we got it. So head over to Lightworkers United on YouTube and I will see you over there. And of course, if you feel you have content on YouTube that is high vibrational and spiritual related, you can also contact me. And my website is KristinDaviesMedium.com. And I'd love to see what you have, and hopefully we can get that moved to the forefront up onto Lightworkers United, and to bring more people in your direction, bring more, bring your content to the forefront in front of more people as well, right? So that is just my passion project right now, including my own YouTube channel, which is Kristin Davies. And I absolutely love it. That's why I continue to do what I do. You know, when you love what you're doing, it is a passion project for me. It's just my passion. So today, I'm going to be channeling my guardian angel, Agnes. And we're going to be talking about, what came to the forefront for me, and the reason why I'm talking about this is because so many of us during quarantines, we've gained weight, we haven't been able to exercise, We haven't been able to maybe take care of ourselves the ways that we once were able to. And so I really wanted to touch base on self-acceptance, body acceptance, and self-love. I think that's really, really important, especially on the planet right now. And I'm going to bring about some points of view that you may agree with and you may not agree with. So you take what resonates with you, okay? Because my opinion or my perspective, my filter that I'm operating through is a little bit more blunt or direct. So, and I'm also going to be talking about some of my own experiences. And, you know, people probably look at me and think, oh, what experiences do you have? Well, I do. I do have my own experiences, and I'm going to bring those to the forefront. And again, see what resonates with you and see what doesn't. Just like any material, anyone you're watching, any movies you're watching, any TV shows you're watching, anything you're watching, anything you're reading, you see if it resonates with you or does not. Okay? So if you get a tight sinking feeling in your body, don't pay attention to what you're viewing. Because that's your higher self, that's your team saying this isn't necessary for you to be viewing. This information, this content is not necessary for you. I don't take it personally. I'd rather you listen to your spiritual team. Okay? Okay, so yeah, it really came to the forefront when I gained a solid 50 pounds through quarantine myself. And I wasn't able to work out. I wasn't able to, you know, and let's be honest, sometimes we need certain things to help us cope for select periods of time. And, you know, that is okay. But, you know, it's interesting because when I relay readings for people, the angels will come through and say, no, just let them go ahead. And they're not going to give any guidance about changing the diet because the person needs that comfort in their life at that time. And other times it's time to shape up, change the diet, consume more high vibrational foods. And so it's interesting depending on the person, depending on the reading. It's not always one way. It's not always set in stone. So here's a question for everybody. Why does it matter so much what other people think of you? Why does that matter so much? Sometimes self-love actually means that other people's opinions of you are secondary, if not further down the line. And other people's opinions of you are none of your business. Yeah, it shouldn't, but the ego pops in. That's a good perspective. It doesn't matter, or it should not matter. Yeah. It's interesting. It's none of our business, right? Yeah. So it's interesting because I love that, Muriel. It's interesting because so often we allow the opinions of others to alter how we feel about ourselves, how we think about ourselves, how we view the world. And it takes some real strength to not give a shit what other people think of you. And I have done a video about this, other people's opinions of you and not caring. And I'm going to pop that in the comments, and I'm also going to put the link up so you guys can watch that. I highly recommend you do. It's a little bit more of a blunt approach in that video, so you be prepared for that. If you're very empathic, other people's energy may affect you. So what do we do if that happens? If others' energy is affecting you, what do you do? What do you do about it? Do you just sit there and complain about it? Or what do you do about it? Hello, hello. So Faith would like to say it doesn't matter, but we are programmed to crave acceptance from the outside world. And I think that maybe when we're brought up by our parents, it's like we behave a certain way, and it's important to be accepted by family and friends and peers, even to the point of like, you know, this is the religion that we're going to be in because we have to be accepted, right? But once you become an adult, now things change. You can't put the blame on others, and you can't put the finger on others, because now you are managing your own energy, and now you are responsible for your own frequency. You're responsible for your own thoughts. You're responsible for your own feelings. You're responsible for your own emotions. And it takes some continual adjustment and realignment, if you want to say, to change that. When you start to channel spirit, connecting in, you know, with my guardian angel, she doesn't sit there and baby me, coax me, or she doesn't tell me to go ahead and drop my frequency to suit other people. I never hear that from her. So it's reprogramming the old thought patterns in our minds. Does anybody know how we do that? What are some of the tools that you can do to change that? Love it. Yes. Try and ground yourself when you're empathic. Ground yourself every single day. Every day. And step away from the energy. I agree with that. Put yourself as a priority. You're number one. You are top priority. Your energy is top priority. You can call in Archangel Michael to move into your home, to be around you. I highly recommend you do. And you can go out into nature and ground yourself. You can put a nice big piece of rose quartz on your lap to help ground your lower chakras. You can ask to have your chakras replaced. Which ones need to be replaced? You can have a nice Epsom salt bath. But if you are, I feel we're all empathic to a degree, but some are very empathic. So it's very important to manage who you're around, what energy is impacting and affecting you at every turn. You have to be more on it than anybody else, more than me, because I have people in the spiritual community that are more empathic than me, and I slowly get a better idea and an understanding when communicating with them, just the importance of self-care and self-love. It's more important in my opinion, from what I can see. It's easier for me to shift and detach than it would be for someone else. And I understand that. So one thing you can do with the low vibrational things that keep coming up in your head, the programming, okay, the old tape patterns, is we can hand it to our angels as it comes up. If something has you triggering and upset, recognize that, observe it, and then what are you going to do with it? Take it and give it to be transmuted. Now, what if it keeps triggering? What if you keep having the same thoughts coming up and creeping up in your head? And it's just like you can't get it out of your head for the rest of the day, maybe the following day. For me, it's like if I can't get something out of my head in like 1 hour, I'm doing this. I don't wait for a day. I don't wait till the next day. I catch it, I'm triggering. Okay, now I'm really getting ramped up about this. I tell my angels, I say, I'm red rooming. And so they know what this means is, so you can picture an energetic red room around you. And then you can just start offloading why you're pissed off and why you're triggering. And that room will absorb that dense or heavy energy so that it doesn't go out and impact and affect the collective consciousness on planet Earth. If you want it to be a green room, go ahead. You want it to be a blue room, go ahead. I just say red room. red rooming. There's also a video on my YouTube channel about red rooming that I'm going to pop up as well. And when I'm red rooming, I don't hold back. If I want to scream, yell, swear, punch a pillow, pace myself, sit out in the car and scream at the top of my lungs, whatever you want to do, you do it until you get it all up and out of you. So now you're helping the angels help you by transmuting the heaviness from you, and they will take that and you're going to feel so much better afterwards. And the things that you used to trigger on and the things that used to piss you off don't over time. Deflect. Yep. In my mind, if someone is coming at me and I'm not in alignment with what they're saying, I'll just repeat in my mind, your opinion of me is none of my business. Your opinion of me is none of my business. Your opinion of me is none of my business. And in many ways, many of us are unloading and offloading our stressors, and we're maybe more entrenched in the ego, and it feels good to attack other people and offload our opinions, and we are seeing through our filter, and maybe our filter isn't exactly the most high vibrational, right? So it's easy to find easy targets, especially if they're more in the forefront and they're in front of you, or they're higher in vibration. That might annoy you. It's an easier target to go after, you think. Interesting. Lights are going out already. Let's hope this one stays on. All right. Not really surprised. Yes. And say you got a problem with something, or you got a problem with someone. Call the angels in to help. And don't put how they help you isn't up to you. It's not up for you to know. Just call them in and watch it get resolved. Okay? Perfect. Affirmations are wonderful. That is an affirmation. Your opinion of me is none of my business. Your opinion. And what will happen is you're sending that energy out with those words in your mind, and that person will shift and move somewhere else. They'll probably keep unloading, but they're not going to unload onto you. And they're not going to be talking with you as much. I've actually done this in my life. I've actually practiced this. And you watch as you're just not someone of interest, or they don't care to come around you. Maybe they feel a bit uncomfortable and they don't really want to engage with you or let you know how they feel. All right. So some people feel that they stick out in our society, that they don't fit in. And what I want to say is, I love it when people stick out. I love it when people don't fit in. I friggin' love it. Like, I'm all about it. I like diversity. I like differences. This planet needs more color. It needs more vibrancy. It needs more difference. It really does. We've been cooped up inside of this box of what the norm should be, or what's acceptable in our society, and I think it's time, well past due time, that we break free. And many times when I've listened to the angels, they're the ones also reiterating this, and they love that too. They love it, and I've heard them say it many, many times. And they're championing us, and they're cheering us on. Some of us are stepping out of the box, and maybe we aren't putting self-love into the forefront, so maybe we're not taking care of ourselves as we could. And I'm not going to say should. I'm going to say as we could, because it's your free will choosing as to how you take good care of yourself or not. We can take good care of ourselves or not. We can go through moments in life where we're under stress, and then redirect and start taking better care of ourselves when we want. Yes. I love mirror work. I test the water. I like to look in the mirror and I'll say, I love you. And I'll look myself right in the eye and I'll see how that resonates. If I feel awkward, uncomfortable, I'm like, okay, time for some more mirror work. Time to amplify that. And amplifying it by saying it and then manifesting it. I love that. Trying something different as often as you can. Okay? If you like being different, if you like dyeing your hair a different color, if you feel that your sexuality is something different, others don't have to understand you. Okay? They don't have to understand what you're doing. That's not what's important. And in fact, it's so not. As long as you are comfortable, as long as you are happy, as long as this is your vibrational match for you, and you are content with who you are, that's all that matters. Other people's opinions of you are none of your effing business. They're just not. They're just not. They're so secondary, if not last. So when I see YouTube videos, or I'll see, if you guys haven't checked out Special Kids on YouTube, these are people or children that have medical or birth DNA changes, differences, and they are very different. Sometimes visually, sometimes mentally than the rest of the populace. I love watching that. You know, there's so much to be learned when you're watching others who are different, who are going through it, and who may be suffering. I learn so much from them. And I cheer them on. I love differences. Yes. If you are empathic or sensitive to other people's energy, you have to be grounding yourself every day. So with your diet, what's one way to help you ground yourself? What foods would you stay clear of to help ground your energy? Okay, yep. Love it. Okay, I'm just moving down the line here. Love it. Okay. It's never going to be about your body. It's never going to be about your vessel. It's always going to come and stem from your vibrational frequency. It doesn't matter how beautiful you are, and it doesn't matter how different you are or others' opinions of you, because your energy, the energy that you exude, is what others will be drawn to or not drawn to. So, I'll give you an example. In my younger years, I used to booze it up quite a bit. I was very much in my ego, and I wasn't maybe entirely pleasant to be around at times. And people would tell me, man, you really change when you drink. But I was like, whatever. I was in the more 3D living, and I didn't care. And then my health hit rock bottom. And I remember I had this position in fine dining, and I wasn't getting along with some of my coworkers at the time. They were having a real issue with me. I was like, whatever, I didn't care. And then my health hit rock bottom. I stopped drinking. Had to get my health back in gear, and then I went back to the job a year later, and so many of my coworkers came up to me and said, wow, you have really changed. Like, it's amazing. You're so much more pleasant to be around. Your energy is great. So, it depends on where we're at in life. It's not always cupcakes and roses. And in the end, it will always be your energy that people are drawn towards or not drawn towards. And I think that's really, really important. And that will always stem, usually, if we're in a position of, self-care and self-love. And self-love isn't always easy. I know you guys have heard me say that before, but that's the truth of it. I'll just love myself and then everything will be okay. Sometimes you have to say no to people. Sometimes you have to hold your boundaries with people. Sometimes you, you know, you have to accept that other people are in a different vibrational frequency than someone else. You know, in the fifth dimensional reality, people are like, well, if people ascend to 5D, are we gonna, like, we're not gonna see them anymore? Oh my God, we're never gonna see our loved ones if they ascend. And what if I don't ascend and I'm not gonna see them anymore? Because, you know, they're not gonna be able to ascend with me. And if you think about it, it's happening all the time. Like, how many people have fallen out of your life because they're no longer a vibrational match for you and you don't see them anymore? They're not in your reality. They're not in your life anymore. You don't talk to them anymore. I literally, in the beginning of my awakening, thought, well, yeah, when people ascend and they start moving up in dimensional frequency and higher dimensional energy, they're just going to disappear off the planet. It's just that certain people won't be a vibrational match anymore for one another, right? So you're just not going to have them in your life. And P.S., that's okay. It's okay if they aren't in your life. We can't, you know, push a truck uphill that doesn't want to start and get going on its own. You have to allow people to be as they choose, and they will shift and change when they're ready. It might be in this lifetime. It might be in 10 lifetimes down the road. Yeah. So what do you do if you don't like being different? What do you do? Does anybody have any ideas about that? Paul, just try to do it like twice a week, and then do it like, say it out loud like 5 to 10 times. And don't overanalyze it. Just say it. You may not feel it, but when you're doing the mirror work, just say, I love you. I love you, and you're going to sit in such discomfort. But it's not about how you feel in the moment. It's just saying it, affirming it, amplifying it, and then that goes out and it starts to manifest. And then you wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I feel really different. Okay? All right. So what do you do when you don't feel comfortable being different? Thank you. So one thing you really want to look out for when you are trying to ground your energy is you really want to make sure that you're stepping away from sugar or refined sugar, okay, soda pop, and then also caffeine. Because sugar and caffeine, but if you're already really busy and you're probably needing that and you don't have time for yourself, then you're probably in a constant state, I would imagine, of being ungrounded. So you just have the sugar and the caffeine to keep that party going, right? But if you're interested in grounding your energy, then you're going to start moving away from that, or have select times during the week where it's fun and enjoyable for that, but not like every day, all the time, every moment. There's a big difference. Okay. You know, when I was younger, I didn't see people that were bisexual or pansexual or autistic or ADHD. I just didn't see this. I didn't see people with like food allergies. I didn't see people with like allergies to cleaning supplies or dairy allergies. I just didn't see this. And then I remember probably around age 16, I started to see people were going vegetarian. What was that? Vegetarian? I used to think vegetarian was super weird. And then as I've gotten older, there's more and more sensitivities, more souls coming in that are more sensitive to energy, more sensitive to food, coming in, being labeled, and also just having a lot of differences. And I'm like, wow. And now we have vegetarian, and we have people with, that are vegan, and it's just personally, I think is awesome. How can you change things on the planet if you're not going to have any differences or being different? Yeah, eating more greens, more rooted vegetables, that helps ground your energy too. Incredibly. Yeah, I love smoothies too. Yeah, that's so true. Going through medical or health issues always makes you realize what is most important. Even when you're going through the absolute ringer, even when you're having the hardest, most difficult time of your life, there is always the things in it that you will observe and learn from. People might call it the silver lining, but when you're in the thick of it, you're like, that, the silver lining, I'm suffering here. But it takes that patience and that stillness and that grounding to observe the good things that come out of it. And the first 2 years, I didn't know how to do that. I just kept bucking my head against the brick wall. Couldn't get my health together, lost my period, starvation, in and out of hospitals, crying. My friends didn't want to hang out with me anymore because my frequency tanked down the toilet. And so what was I to do? Right? I was at home with my mother, and her frequency wasn't exactly high. And I remember one day saying to myself, okay, I can't change what's happening here, but I can change what's going on here and how I observe it and my attitude towards it. And as soon as I started to shift my energy up here, that's when doors started opening in other areas and I was able to get myself well again. I was able to shift things. So people would say that you're too nice. They would make you feel stupid for it. But being mean doesn't feel right to me. I struggle with boundaries because I am nice. But I'd still rather be a nice person. Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. What you put out is also, really important, that energy. But sometimes self-love is hard. And sometimes I think it's important to be nice, but then if we're too nice, I don't want to be a carpet that somebody walks all over or a doormat. So being nice with boundaries. We don't need to be passive aggressive. We don't need to be aggressive, but I think it's important to be assertive and use your words and be assertive. And so when something is bothering you or you feel like you need to say something, don't hold back. Use your words. Use your voice. Okay? A lot of people that are really, really nice, they don't say anything and they're quiet and they stuff it down. And then at some point, your team of angels have to get that energy back up out of you and transmute it into the light. That or these ascension waves that are coming in on planet Earth will do it for you. But we can shift this, catch it in the moment. You can even ask Archangel Michael to give you the courage to stand up for yourself and speak your mind. And I highly recommend that you do. Ask your whole team to do that. Next thing you know, you're going to have just like this amazing courage come from you. And you're going to feel so much lighter and so much better. And you're going to feel so good about yourself. And in order for others to respect your energy, your boundaries, who you are, they don't even have to be in your life for a long period of time. But they'll get it real quick that you aren't someone to be walking all over. And it's really important that you speak your mind and hold your energy. Yep. A lot of people are having that experience right now. Long-term friendships, family members, it's all like shifting. It's like it's all moving right now. My suggestion is don't get into it with people about what you feel is right or wrong about the vaccine or other hot topics. You have your perspective, they have theirs. Allow them to be as they choose. Each person is responsible for their own vessel, educating themselves, and making their own decision. They're responsible for their own energy, their own words, their own actions. We're all adults here. So it's best not to ride that, because you're going to end up possibly like this, or possibly not talking to them. Jennifer Aniston coming out and saying she cut everybody out of her life because they didn't get vaccinated. What? My friendship is based on getting a vaccine? Wow. Wow. But some people are, wanting to have more of a broader perspective in life, and some people are very narrow perspective in life. Allow them to be as they choose. Either way. That's so true. Sometimes it does take no. The word no. And being nice and taking care of yourself is more important than being nice to others. I totally agree. And I think that that's part of self-love. All right. I remember several times starving like you wouldn't believe. Having flare-ups, going out for dinner with the family. I lost, I think, at least 20 pounds at that point. I'm just listing off one moment. And I remember walking ahead, going into the restaurant, and several of my family members behind me said, "Wow, Kristin, you are looking so good." They were looking at my back end and looking at how much weight I'd lost and saying how great I looked. Inside, I was dying. I was literally starving. What I wouldn't have given to just be able to be like everybody else and eat the food that everybody else could eat, but I couldn't. And so in that moment, I realized that others' perspective of what is attractive is losing a ton of weight, even though I was, like, they knew I was unwell. I'm like, okay. I would way rather have an excess of 30 pounds on me and be able to eat a healthy diet and feel good than to be sick and starving and have people think I'm attractive and I lost 20, 30 pounds. I've had moments where I've lost more than that. I've had moments where I'm probably in the 90s, and that was right before surgery. But you just understand that other people's perspective is their own. It's not mine. It's theirs. And how they project that and their opinions of you has nothing to do with you. And that's what you freaking realize in time. It has nothing even to do about you. All right. All right, so I'm just going to see what my guardian angel would like to say, Agnes, on this topic, okay? Okay, she's talking about belief within yourself, for yourself, these ideals, and now deemed as being the norms of how we are to be physically, mentally, emotionally in our society is overstretched, unrealistic. It's like we're trying to fit into this mold of how we should be. the angels would prefer that we break out of this mold and be individual, unique, different. Be the way you want to be, that you feel suits you and that you're comfortable with. And above all else, love yourselves. That will be the greatest gift that you can give yourselves while incarnating here on earth. There is no greater gift that you could give yourself, because as you lift and raise in vibrational frequency and you give yourself this gift of self-love, so shall you lift the vibrational frequency of many around you. And this is so important on earth at this time, even in the midst of chaos and the further chaos to ensue down the road in the future. Hold your light bright, separate from what is going on here on earth. Create your own bliss bubble. Create your own light-filled worlds, existences, and think not of others' perspectives of you, dear ones, for they are so very secondary, if not last, in the importance of who you are, the divine beings of light and love that you truly are. Show them the way. Show them the way out of the darkness and into the light. And she's saying she wouldn't even necessarily say darkness, but she would say confusion, being ungrounded, temporarily lost. Thank you, dear ones. All right. What would your suggestion be for those who don't feel like they fit in, and they just feel like they can't fit in, or they feel uncomfortable because they feel different, for example? She says, shine your light brightly for all to see. Amplify the differences within yourself and show others the way. That being different is okay. If anything, it should be celebrated. And if you need help in doing so, call upon your angels, call upon your team to assist you in stepping forth on earth through the rest of your incarnation in this way. Thank you, beloved ones. Yeah, some situations and experiences, they kind of toughen you up. And then it's like anything outside of that coming your way is like whatever. Because like people don't know where you've been. They don't know what you're going through. And you can take that as strengths after strengths after strengths after strengths. And they'll soon recognize that they can't budge you. Okay? And really they're just unloading how they feel about themselves onto others. It's not even about you. All right, let's take some questions. All right. So then we would ask Judy, angels, please help me with clarity and help me form the fluid thought forms that I need in the moment. And in fact, I would probably ask your higher self, your soul, to help you do that. Bring it in crystal clear, bring it into the forefront so you know what to say in the moment. Beautiful. And, you know, assertiveness, as you're saying there, and setting boundaries can be a struggle for many people in the beginning. But there's nothing like practice. Even if you bomb it, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you're sitting there totally uncomfortable, get used to the discomfort. Get used to others being uncomfortable with you. They'll sort it out. They'll figure it out. And then you're going to be more at ease, and you're going to feel lighter, you're going to feel better, you're going to draw and attract more high vibrational people to you, where you don't have to hold your boundaries all the time. You don't have to be assertive all the time, because you got some amazing like-minded souls with you. I mean, it's brilliant. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the worst things in your life that you've ever been through can be such a friggin' blessing if you want. Other people choose to backpedal in it and stay there for years. Do you think that our loved ones on the other side want us to mourn and grieve their loss for years down the road? Heck no. I've never once heard a spirit or a soul come to visit someone and say, I sure wish they were grieving over us still. They want us to thrive here. They want us to be happy here. They want us to remember them, but they want us to be happy. If they can shift and evolve and progress on the other side, then we should be able to do that while we're in the physical form. Am I right? It might be a little bit trickier in the physical form, but we can do it. We can do it just like they do it. And in fact, we can ask our loved ones to help us do it. There's no excuses why we can't do it. Good. Practice, 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 Tessa. Practice, practice, practice. When you have a moment where it's really uncomfortable with a coworker or with a loved one, this is going to be a prime practice time. And you're going to sit in the discomfort. You're going to be really calm. You're going to hold your words. You're going to hold your boundaries. The feeling I get with your energy is that you choose to isolate yourself more, like you choose not to be around people as much, and that's likely to protect your energy. I'm assuming. I'm getting a 3. I'm getting thumbs up. They want you to know that it's okay and it's safe in the world, even if you have felt differently. The truth is, it is safe in the world. If you choose it to be, this will be what you will manifest in your experience. And you will choose this, and then you will manifest it. And then you will manifest living in a safe environment, being around high vibrational people, having a wonderful high vibrational experience. Just like the unconscious ones or the unawake ones will choose maybe more chaotic, ungrounded, lower vibrational experiences for themselves, not realizing that they are manifesting that into their reality. So in truth, it is safe in the world for you and for anyone who wishes to strive to reach for the light on a day-to-day basis. Yes, thank you. That was coming from your guardian angels. Isn't that beautiful? Felt them come right through my chest and right down the center of my head. And they're very direct. I like it. Now I can hear them laughing. It's your male guardian angel laughing. Do you think the angels are fearful? Do you think the archangels are fearful? Do you think Jesus is fearful? Guess what? Big fat no. No one is. No one is scared or fearful here. So why the heck would I be? They're talking about you learning to bring forth your voice, and you've done more, being more timid. And if somebody is too forthright with you, you kind of settle back more. They want you to hold your ground and be calm and use your words and don't back down. And they'll help you do this. All right, let's do it. A lot of blue life colors on the planet love to put others first, take care of others, and they pretty much put themselves second or last a lot of the time, which doesn't leave for much self-love. So I would imagine blue light colors are really learning about self-love on planet Earth. Whereas if you have indigo life color in your auric field, being an indigo kid, that's like in the forefront, top number one. It really has been in the forefront right from the get-go. And I've developed on that over the years as I've gotten older. And it feels really good. And it is really the difference between walking and flying in life. And I highly recommend it. What would you like to say to the blue light colors? Hold your own. It's okay to say no. You don't always have to be everything for everyone else. Don't be a doormat. Don't let others walk all over you. It's okay to not be nice at times. A lot of blue light colors want to be nice all the time. But you know what that teaches other people? Oh, this is an easy target. At times, people might see that, right? So, being more assertive and saying no. Taking into account your energy, your time, and how much of that you want to invest it with others or in others. You don't always have to give everything of yourself for others, okay? Or investing in others. All right. That's a part of self-love. Thank goodness for that, Henson. Always remember, we come in exactly as we're meant to come in. And if, no matter what difference is, even if your loved ones around you can't understand it, and maybe the way you were trained by your parents, and that entrenched thought form, you can't even understand it because that's how you were taught by your parents, that differences are wonderful. Wonderful. I live in a location where I see people that are different a lot, and they're very much more comfortable living here and accepted here. So I see a lot of transgender individuals switching on both sides. I see a lot of lesbian and gay couples holding hands and sauntering down the streets. I see people at the grocery store, at Walmart. I see them working there, and I know that they're transitioning. And I see people with, oh, how many times I see this, different hairstyles, different hair colors. And the interesting thing is something in the water and the sunshine here. I think it's just a very accepting place. I see a lot of people in their 40s and 50s, like they'll be cruising around town on like an electric scooter or on a they'll be doing things that you would see like an 18-year-old do, but they don't care because they genuinely don't give a shit what other people think of them, and they're just free-spirited here, and they just want to enjoy their life, and they're just off skateboarding. Or there's times where I've seen like vehicles that have been altered and they kind of look like the Batmobile, and you're just like, and every time I'm like, yep, only here I see that stuff. But I friggin' love it. And it's just, it affirms to me that I am living in the right place for me. I go, yep, this is the right place for me. Any place that would segregate or condemn someone for being different is not the place for me to live. I wouldn't fit in there. Wouldn't happen. Yeah, oh well, Chrissy. Oh well. Yeah. People are getting really heated and triggered on certain topics, and one of them is the vaccine, one of them is COVID, one of them, we could go down a long list. We really could, okay? We could. but there's really no point. I'm just saying. Allow them to be as they choose. If they want to go off the deep end with it and they want to get all triggered and heated, that's of their choosing. That is of their own free will. But I don't have to go along on that ride with them, and I don't have to participate in that conversation. I don't have to butt heads with them. Why? Why would I give my energy away to that? Why would I drain my good energy? Why would I let somebody else's opinions affect my frequency? They're responsible for their body, their emotions, their thoughts, just like I'm responsible for mine. Here's my message to those of you holding back. Okay? When you feel like you're being encroached upon and you are feeling a strong feeling like you need to hold your own ground, don't hold back. I remember there was a moment in my life where I kept stuffing things down when I was younger, in my teens and my early 20s, but I was really not happy. And I said, okay, so what am I going to do about it? And I said, okay, every time I'm not happy with something, I am going to say something. I'm not going to go off the deep end with it, but I am going to hold my own with it. The other thing I would do is I would pick and choose, if you want to say pick and choose your battles. You guys understand what that means? So if something was going to take too much of my energy, I looked at the other person. Were they really going to get what I was going to say? What were they going to do with it anyways? Are they so angry and heated that they're not even going to hear what I have to say anyways, and there isn't going to be much respect or care in this conversation? Probably going to let that one go. Yeah, I agree, Candace. Allowing people to be as they choose is an act of self-love. It's loving my energy and my frequency enough to say, that's their choice, that's their life, they're responsible for their own frequency, and I'm being responsible for my frequency, and I'm going to go and put my attention over here and allow them to be as they choose, and I'm going to go and enjoy my life. And, you know, some people want to change. Some people are ready for a certain amount of change. Lord knows I know. You guys have seen my mediumship courses. You've seen me, right? I'm not, cracking on you guys and, you better do this, that, and you better do X, Y, Z to get to here. Like, I don't operate like that because we're all grown adults. And some people are ready for this amount of change. And some people are ready for this amount of change. Some of the changes might stick for a time because it feels good, and other times it's not going to stick, and they're going to maybe resort back to old ways that feel comfortable for them. Any which way, underneath it all, we change the amount in which we're ready for. And no level of trying to control people or telling them what to do is going to alter that. They're going to be ready to change at the level and the amount that they want when they're ready. So, and I learned this from the angels: allow others to be as they choose. And in the beginning, when I first started channeling them, I was like, no, I'm going to give my opinion, and then I realized, oh, that's not really working for me. I knew it wasn't working for me for years as an indigo. People would just be like, yeah, okay, Kristin, okay. Or they wouldn't even say nothing to me. They'd be like, and I knew I wasn't getting through. And yeah, I could see it so clearly, but they're just not ready. They'll be ready when they want to. They'll take bits and pieces and they'll make the changes that feel good to them when they're ready. I like to think that I've made a pretty good dent, but I can't make that dent unless the other people are ready to receive it and make the changes. And some of it, what I do may not resonate with them at all, and I'm totally okay with that. And others, it'll be like, yes, oh, yes, so ready for that information. And in that culture, Henson, that might be the norm. I know my aunt, she had rooms for rent in her home, so many people would come and stay and learn English. So we would meet people from Korea, people from China, people from Japan, people from Sweden, Poland, USA, from all over. And it was always the students in their 30s, still living at home with mom and dad, still hadn't found a partner in their lives, so they thought they'd head off to a different country and learn English. And it was always the ones with the upbringing from certain cultures. I did notice the Asian background, where if they gained any weight, their parents were on them. And I remember them complaining to me about it. And I'm like, so what? You gained 20 pounds. You're here enjoying yourself. You're only here for a short time. You'll go back home and lose it all. It's not a big deal. I was never like, oh, yeah, you should lose. No, enjoy yourself. You're trying new foods you haven't tried before. You're probably eating more because it's comforting for you. I'm like, as long as you're happy, you know, are you healthy and you're happy? Okay, well, let's go off. Let's go have adventures. And I would take them off on adventures with me, and we would go off whale watching, and we'd go have fun. We'd go dancing. We'd go to movies. Just let them be as they choose. From a person's perspective, me, that has had digestive issues and surgeries, when you lose so much weight that you're starving, and everybody says, oh, you look so great, Kristin, and inside you're like, I'm literally starving. I'd much rather have an extra 30, 50 pounds on me. No question. You know, if I'm healthy and I'm eating a healthy diet and I have a little bit of extra weight on me, I take that in a heartbeat. I take it in a heartbeat. Other people will be drawn to you. They'll be drawn to your light, and you'll have other people come into your life that will be your new friends and will feel like family. The diet industry has majorly messed with our perceptions of bodies. All bodies are beautiful with or without extra weight. I agree, 100%. Look at those magazines. You think those are real? You think those pictures are real? You think those aren't totally photoshopped? And then you see like the celebrities before photos come out in the industry, and then you're like, oh, that was majorly photoshopped. So, you know, I'm just saying that is no norm or box I ever want to fit into. Just be yourself. Yeah, and if you lose a lot of weight and you are, you know, like there's a difference between healthy eating and healthy exercising and feeling energetic and feeling good. Okay. But if you're losing a ton of weight, you don't have the muscle mass too much, you're not really taking good care of yourself, you don't have the energy to exercise because you're lethargic because you've lost a lot of weight, but you feel like you can't eat because the societal norm tells you, then there's something off balance with that. Okay? I was never like that. It was more my body wouldn't allow me to eat, and I had to wait for my body to heal before I could eat certain foods again. So I wanted to eat. Oh, how I wanted to eat, but I couldn't. Just be thankful that you have a healthy body. Be thankful you're not in chronic pain, okay? Love your body. Love it. Every square inch of it. Like, You know, as I've gotten older, I got a little more chub here. Whatever, don't care. You know, I've lost bone in my mouth. I'm going to have to get my teeth replaced. It is what it is. There isn't, you just roll with it, and you do the best that you can, and you love yourself anyways. Nothing's going to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect. Okay? Let go of that perception. Let it go. There you go, angels. Take it. Thank you. So let's not affirm that it's difficult. I'm going to work on mirror work. I'm going to work on, I'm going to focus in on self-love. The angels are going to help me make this easy. And I'm going to move fluidly in this direction, and the angels will help me go. And maybe I'll call in Archangel Michael. And if you really want to, you can ask the angels to show you how they feel about love and self-love. Because my goodness, if you wanted a dose of that, they're going to give you a big one. When you start to converse with them on a regular basis, it is nothing but love. And they like to describe our energy as beings of light and love. We are love. So let's just take off that pinched part from who we really are, open up the gap and let it flood forth. Show me who I really am. Help me to love myself. Help show me the way. I ask for this or something better. Oh, it is. And all you have to say is, yes, please. Let's go. Let's do it. Okay. Yes. The key in hearing spirit is that we must have a quiet mind and ground our energy. If you're busy all the time, your mind's racing all the time, then how are we going to hear spirit? Right? So creating more internal peace, more quiet in the mind, grounding our energy, then we have a good foundation. And even in the beginning, it might not be hearing spirit, it might not be seeing spirit, but we can ask them a question in our mind or out loud, or we can write it down on paper, and then your mind must be quiet and you can feel the yes and no response in your body. Tight pullback is a no, relaxed is a yes. And then the third response is this: you can if you wish, but we would like you to wait for something, another path. Okay? So there have been times where my angel will say no to me and I don't listen. And then afterwards I'm like, I should have listened. But that's the whole point of being on Earth. It's a free will zone, so you get to choose what path you wish for yourself. But I would prefer to get the 411 and on an energy that can see every square inch of what's to come and get her feedback. It's important. Any last words? It all comes down to belief and believing. And if you don't believe, then talk it into being. Use affirmations and mirror work, self-love talk. And then the low vibrational thoughts that arise within you, hand them off to your team of angels. You can hand them off to your higher self. You can hand them off to Archangel Michael. You can hand it off to Grandma. It doesn't matter. Just hand it off. And then we don't really have to fixate on it. Just go, oh, there's that thought again. Here you go. Or you can write it down on a piece of paper. That'll be pretty interesting at the end of the day to see how many low vibrational thoughts rotated in your mind at the end of the day on a piece of paper. As soon as it's written down, you just gave all that to the angels to transmute into the light. And over time, your mind becomes more still and more quiet and more peaceful, and you have less and less to hand off to the angels because all of it got transmuted into the light. How long did it take? The energy was moving much slower back then. It's moving way faster now. So it took years, and I didn't know how to do it, and nobody showed me how to do it. There weren't groups for me to join to learn how to do it. And then I would recognize, oh, my angel is coming down through. I could tell when I was using angel cards, which I find a great high vibrational tool. that the angels were coming in through the left hand side of my brain, and then the energy was able to operate my hand on my right side, right? And I could even feel their energy come down my neck, down through my arm, through my hand, through my fingers, and then I would feel warmth and tingling over cards. And then I knew, I was like, oh, that's how they're choosing the cards. And so I would pick the cards where I felt this warmth and tingling, and then over time of me practicing, my finger would go down to the card and operate by their energy, operating my finger. And I thought that was even more cool. And it was always prevalent to what was going on in my life. So you guys know that I do have the next Mediumship for Beginners course coming up. And that's going to be for 2 weeks, October 15th until the 29th. And I show you the ropes. I show you the ropes the way the angels have shown me. Everything I teach is how the angels would teach. I don't teach anything other than what I'm guided to teach. And it's bit by bit, and it's a lot of practice. You can't get good at something unless you practice. So mediumship is something that you do. If you really want to, you have to practice it, right? Thank you, Dee. Dee's saying, take Kristin's mediumship course. It's spectacular. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. If you feel drawn and you keep thinking about it, then I would suggest you take it. If you're not drawn towards it and you're not thinking about it and it's flat, or you get a pullback in your body, maybe it's not the right time. Don't take it. Okay? So that would tell me, Tessa, that self-love work is very much necessary. And putting yourself in situations where you are uncomfortable. Sit and face and go into the discomfort every chance you get. If you're fearful of something, walk right into it. Because if you don't, and you keep holding back and hiding away from the world, then you're letting the fear and the discomfort run your show. And how much fun is that? Not much fun. Been there. Not a good time. So how long did it take for me to hear them? I would say 12 years. But mind you, the energy was much slower back then. It came through as my internal voice forming words, but I wasn't the one forming them. But this has to be still and quiet. If you have a very racing, busy mind, then you're going to ground yourself out in nature. And while you're sitting out by the tree and you're nice and you're more grounded and quiet, you preferably haven't touched sugar or caffeine, then you're prime and ready to quiet your mind. You can ask them a question, or you can just ask them to put a word in your head. Then after you've got that down, they love to put the word love into our mind in the very beginning. They'll put other words in our mind, okay? And then don't second guess it, just go with the flow of it. And then in time, you can ask them to put like a short sentence in your mind, and then you get that down really good. And then longer sentences. Then they'll be talking with you like everything you're doing in your life. If you're doing stuff that is, lowering your frequency, they'll be guiding you to not be doing that and all sorts of things. Then they're working with you. They'll be guiding you like little things like your chiropractor appointments in 15 minutes, or you forgot your water bottle inside the house. So they'll do things like this to almost, I don't want to say train us, but have us alert and aware and conscious of the communication that's flooding forth. And the more we're conscious and aware, the more we pick up on it. So we're working in tandem with them now. Difference between walking and flying. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to put a lot of links in the comments below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.